Hello, friends. Today's question of the day: what does unity in the church really mean? We see this phrase thrown around. We see it abused sometimes by people who want to be the dictators of their churches. But what are we supposed to be thinking about when we hear and preach and read and pray about the word unity? We're going to look at Paul's letter to the Ephesians in Ephesians chapter 4, and we're going to look at verses 13 through 16 that are going to give us a whole lot of perspective on what unity is and is not. And what we see is Paul's talking about how the church has been put in place and the leadership of the church has been put in place for a very specific reason. That's the building up of the body of Christ. And how do we know how that building up is going? Verse 13, until we all attain to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to mature manhood, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. So what's our first standard? Christ himself. We're to be growing into manhood and maturity and unity in him, in his word, not behind a person or an agenda or a board, but united with Christ in his truth. Paul goes on, so that we may no longer be children, tossed to and fro by the waves and carried about by every wind of doctrine, by human cunning, by craftiness in deceitful schemes. That's exactly why we can't unite behind humans or boards or human ideas, but have to unite behind Christ. Because if we unite behind humans, we're vulnerable, because humans are vulnerable to being deceived and distorted and discouraged. But if we unite behind Christ, we're united behind not only the strongest, but the victor, the champion, the king. And we get all that security and all that truth from being united with him. Paul goes on. Rather, instead of being deceived, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into him who is the head, into Christ, from whom the whole body, joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped, when each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds itself up in love. So what's this body? This is Christ on earth, his unity with his church. He is the head of the church. He is the one we're all supposed to be following, but we get to be part of the body of Christ while we're here on earth. And we need to be united in purpose, not behind a person, not behind a denomination, but behind Christ and his word, so that we can grow and serve and bring him glory and build up the body of Christ in love, not for our peace, not for the comfort or the narcissism of another person, but for the glory of God. Why? Because that's why he created us. I hope this has been helpful. Have a blessed day.